Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Right now at 6, do you recognize these men? Police say members of this biker club viciously beat a man because he bumped into one of them. Good to have you with us at 6. Tonight, they want to find the group that sent a man to the hospital with serious injuries because of what was apparently just an accident.
Yeah, it happened over the weekend in Monroe County at the Wolf's-Den Bar in Carlton. Our Priya Mann talked with the bar owner and police. And Priya, from what we understand, this bar has been on the department's radar, right?
Yeah, Pamela and Devin, the police chief says there's been a number of fights in this bar, including a domestic assault that happened inside. He says nobody cooperated, including the owner of the bar. Another reason why the Wolf's Den is on the chief's radar, it is literally next door to the police station.
It's infuriating. It absolutely is infuriating. We can't have people that are beat right in front of the police department. We can't have people that are beat at all, but it just adds insult to injury when it's in front of my building.
A 35-year-old man was brutally beaten Friday night about a block away from the Wolf's Den. Police say the victim bumped into a member of the Iron Coffin Motorcycle Club as he was trying to leave.
This wasn't an accident. It was bumping into the person. It's not like that the person got in there and started to pick a fight with him.
Carlton Police Chief Roy Johnson released this photo of the biker group taken the night of the vicious assault. The victim required 28 staples to close a head wound.
He hit the first one, it went down. The second one charged him. He tackled the second one, trying to defend himself, and then had the group of them just started hitting him.
The chief says outlaw motorcycle clubs come here often, something the owner of the Wolf's Den denies.
There's no outlaw bikers come in here.
Well, this is a family establishment. Nothing but good here.
I would not let a family member of mine go into that bar. I would like to shut it down.
Chief should come talk to the owner. You know, we haven't talked to him yet.
I mean, he's right there.
Yeah, I see him. Want to talk, Chief?
This is no ordinary dispute between neighbors, and the chief walked over. As police look to identify these men, the chief says his phones have been ringing all day.
Clearly, they believe they're above the law.
What do you think?
Well, I'm going to do everything I can to show them that they're not.
I want to give you a sense of the proximity here. So you've got the Wolf's Den there. That's where the victim came out. He walked past the police station, and just about a block away, he was viciously attacked. Now, the police chief tells me the victim suffers from chronic seizures. In fact, he cannot drive. He either rides his bicycle or walks to the Wolf's Den. Anyone with information on the members of this motorcycle club in that photo that the chief released, we've got information up on your screen right now. And the chief and this police department wants to hear from you. In Carlton tonight, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya, hopefully people watching at home are able to help police identify those men in that photo.
It is spring in Michigan, which typically means anything goes. Of course, with the weather, these big snowflakes, though, felt like caught a lot of folks off guard.
It definitely caught me off guard. Andrew is in to track the April snowfall. I think most of us would agree we're ready for sunshine, no more snow.
And some higher temperatures, I'm sure. You're right, Pamela and Devin. We're still looking at chilly conditions out there. The snowfall, that has stopped, and it's stopped for the rest of the afternoon and into this evening. That is some good news. Now, there's still some leftover raindrops from some new precipitation that's now moved into the area. You can see that here in portions of Lapeer County and northern Oakland County. Anywhere from Oxford over to Leonard, Dryden, and also Metamora being affected by some light rain right now. No snow because temperatures are above freezing, in fact, way above freezing. And there are a few more raindrops here getting organized out toward Jackson and Lansing that will move across southeast Michigan before this evening is over with. Now, winds are generally out of the south or south-southeast or out of the east-southeast. No matter what, though, it generally has a southerly component. That's the point here. It's 41 degrees, and that will keep us above freezing for this evening. Any more precipitation this evening, it'll be scattered, light, and wet. What about after midnight? More on that and your next 7 days in minutes.
Verdict watch will continue for another day in the trial of 4 men charged in the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer. The jury has gone home for the day and will pick things up again tomorrow. Sean Lay is outside of the federal courthouse in Grand Rapids with a look at today's big developments in the courtroom. Sean.
Good evening, Pamela. First full day of deliberations for this jury started early this morning at 8:30. They asked a judge for a dictionary by late afternoon. They came back again with a question. The jury inside U.S. District Court for the Western District of Michigan in Grand Rapids was quiet on this first day until 2:45 when they sent a question to the judge asking what is the definition of a weapon. The jury was brought in and the judge told them the definition in a legal dictionary is any instrument designed to harm or kill. The judge added or destroy a person or property. 3 of the men are charged with conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction. The definition of that was included in the jury instructions. Judge Robert Yonker told the jury they could re-listen to recordings made by FBI informants who taped hours of conversations within the Wolverine Watchman group as the group trained, talked about ideas of how to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer and what to do once they stormed her summer home and took her away on a boat. The jury can also watch videos of the training the group made themselves. Prosecutors insisted to the jury the training, the talk, the scoping out of the governor's home all add up to a conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Defense attorneys argued the men smoked marijuana most of the time, were big talkers, pushed by FBI informants, but there was no agreement, they say, at all to kidnap the governor. In fact, when the jury got its answer to its question, all 4 defendants were in the courtroom. All 4 looked fairly relaxed. They're facing life in prison, so we'll have to come back tomorrow in Grand Rapids, 8:30 sharp. Pamela, deliberations will continue and verdict watch will continue as well. We'll be here covering for you. Back to you.
All right, Sean, our eyes and ears out there. Thank you.
Ann Arbor has rather famously been celebrating marijuana for decades. Hash Bash just marked its 50th year over the weekend. But a similar pot festival in another Metro Detroit community is sparking some concern. The 2-day event in Hazel Park, in fact, is called Spark in the Park. It would be held in Green Acres Park in a neighborhood off Woodward Heights and I-75. Victor Williams there live, and a lot of neighbors would prefer organizers take this somewhere else, Victor.
Yes, Devin, a lot of mixed feelings about this. Now, none of this is in stone as of right now. This is going to be a non-alcoholic event, but there is going to be a whole lot of marijuana at this 4.6-acre park. And just like we said, people are on the fence about how they feel about it.
You know, I think it's going to spark a lot of joy in the community.
Curtis Shabazz is excited for the proposed 2-day marijuana festival called Spark in the Park, set to take place in the park across the street from his Hazel Park home, Green Acres Park.
It's about damn time, right? I mean, like, we legalized a few years ago. We decriminalized in this area even way farther than that. I mean, shoot, Tommy Chong has the key to the city for Hazel Park, right? So, I mean, that right there kind of gives you that vibe, that feel.
Diana Wise, on the other hand, is not a fan. As of the moment, 4,200 people are expected to attend.
It's a family park. It's small. They really need to go to a bigger place. They don't have the parking. They're going to be up and down all the side streets. Little kids are trying to play, or even if they're not.
The festival, if approved, will be taking place on June 18th and 19th and will be Metro Detroit's first music festival with licensed recreational marijuana. About 20 bands and artists are set to play. Acts featured so far include Julian Marley and members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
I don't know who the Hoolie-Tan or whatever is. I'll be honest with you, I'm a homeowner, and you know what? I don't need 4,200 people down there.
Similar story for this mother who did not want to be shown on camera, but isn't so happy about what may come with large crowds rather than all the smoke.
Concerns are just with the sheer numbers and the noise, I guess. So hopefully, you know, they do some cleanup afterwards just because of the number of people involved.
And city council members have the final say. This will ultimately be determined at the next city council meeting, where the promoter will be attending as well next week. In Hazel Park, Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, Victor, we've got a warning tonight from police in Farmington Hills. They say 2 men are pretending to work for the department just to steal from homeowners. Say the men told homeowners near 9 Mile and Drake they worked for the water department, said they needed to check the water inside the home. And while one distracted the homeowners, the other was stealing from them. One of the men was wearing a green safety vest and a brown baseball hat. Police say you should refuse entry to anyone who arrives unexpectedly and appears suspicious.
Tonight, several people are without homes after a fire destroys a Southfield apartment building. It happened this morning at the Cranbrook Center Apartments near 13 Mile and Southfield Roads. 8 units were destroyed. Mike Price and his mom lived on the first floor. He actually left work because he wasn't feeling well, and he pulled up as those flames were spreading. He rushed inside to help his mother, who uses a wheelchair, get out safely.
I had to grab my mother, had to bring her out from the bottom. It rose to the top and it spread throughout. It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I was supposed to be here.
And the good news here is that everyone did make it out safely.
Bodies in the street, a mass grave, whole blocks of houses flattened. The scenes out of Bucha, a suburb of Kyiv, have drawn international outrage. UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the UK will push forward with more sanctions and more military aid. Germany relies heavily on Russian gas, says it is, quote, working toward an embargo on Russian energy. President Biden says he's seeking more sanctions against Russia and wants Russian President Vladimir Putin held accountable.
You may remember I got criticized for calling Putin a war criminal. Well, the truth of the matter, you saw what happened in Bucha. This warrants him, he is a war criminal. But we have to gather the information. We have to continue to provide Ukraine with the weapons they need to continue the fight. And we have to gather all the detail so this can be have a war crime trial.
For their part, Russia says it rejects all allegations.
And two witnesses to the horror in the city of Bucha are talking about what they saw tonight on NBC Nightly News. The doctors hid, helped the hurt, then escaped.
Did you see more bodies on the ground when you started to evacuate?
Yes, we saw it, but I tried to focus directly on the road because we was quite stressed. We had kids in the cars, and we're trying to avoid the destroyed parts of the road just to be sure that we will get through this.
Get out safely.
Yes, just get out safely. So that's why even my wife told me, just look straight. Just look straight.
Nightly News is digging into what the world can do about these war crimes. That's ahead at 6:30 with Lester Holt.
The global chip shortage continues to have an impact on Detroit's automakers. Ford is reporting a drop in sales for the first 3 months of the year. Ford says U.S. sales of new cars dipped 17% in the first quarter. In March alone, sales down nearly 26%. But the automaker says it is optimistic going into the spring because of its popular F-Series trucks. And not just Ford feeling the pinch. General Motors reported a 20% drop in the first quarter. Stellantis, a 14% decrease.